Hello, and welcome to Tales for Life. In each episode of this podcast, we'll explore a folk or fairy tale from a different culture or region and discover the life lessons, values, and morals they offer that we can use today. Join me on the journey through the magical and meaningful world of folk and fairy tales. Hello, story lovers, and thanks for joining me for another episode of Tales for Life, the podcast that journeys through life, one tale at a time. We're journeying to Southeast Asia, specifically Laos, for two stories today in an episode I've titled, Gratitude Gets, Gratitude Keeps. Back in episode 5 of this season, we spent some time talking about counting your blessings as a doorway to happiness. And that's true. Gratitude is one of the simplest, most reliable ways to shift your mood and your outlook. But today, we're taking that idea a step further, because gratitude doesn't just make life feel better, it actually builds a better life. Every book, every talk, every teaching on abundance mentions gratitude. And that's not coincidence. It's a pattern, a formula. Wherever you are, whatever your circumstances, the moment you become genuinely grateful for what you already have, you create space for more good to find you. But with that truth comes a little caution. I don't love focusing on the negative, but this part matters. Gratitude opens the door, and losing gratitude can quickly close it again. The moment we start taking things for granted, the moment something that once felt like a gift becomes something we barely notice, we put it at risk. And if we go further, if we start grumbling about it or convincing ourselves we need more or better or different, those blessings that arrived through gratitude can slip right through our fingers. Not metaphorically, literally. Both of today's stories come from Laos, and each one shines a light on this theme in its own way. But this first tale is especially powerful because it shows how even the beginning of gratitude, just the spark of it, can open doors you didn't know existed. It's a story about a poor man, a wizard, and the surprising path that gratitude can take you down. It's called The Wizard and the Beggar. Once upon a time, there was a poor man who ever begged for food, and as he walked along the road he thought, "If anyone will give me to eat until I am satisfied, never will I forget the grace or merit of that person." Chanting these words as he walked slowly along, he met a wizard. "What do you say as you walk along, my son?" asked the wizard. "If anyone will give me to eat all I crave, I will never forget the grace or merit of that person," said the poor man. "My son, the people of this day are ever careless and ungrateful. They forget benefits," replied the wizard. "I will not forget," vowed the poor man. "Go on, my son," said the wizard. Chanting as before, the poor man went on his way, and as he walked, he met a dog. "What do you say as you go along, my son?" asked the dog. "Whosoever will give me to eat to my satisfaction, the grace or merit of that person will I never forget," replied the poor man. Men are prone to forget. None remember favors. When I was young and strong, I guarded my master's house and grounds. Now, when I am old, he will not permit me to enter his gate, but curses and beats me and gives me no food. By him, all my services are forgotten," said the dog. Ever chanting, the poor man walked on, and as he walked, he met a buffalo. "What do you say as you walk along, my son?" asked the buffalo. And the poor man repeated what he had told the wizard and the dog. "Man is ever ungrateful. When I was young and strong, I plowed the field so my master could have rice, and my master was grateful to me. Now that I cannot work, I am driven out to die," said the buffalo. And the poor man, discouraged, sought the wizard again. "My son, will you remember benefits?" asked the wizard. "Never would I forget a benefit," vowed the poor man vehemently. "Then here are 2 jewels. One, if held in your mouth, will enable you to fly as a bird. The other, if held in the mouth, will give you your desires. And this second one I now give to you," said the wizard, and he handed the second jewel to the poor man. "Your grace and merit will ever be remembered by me. More than tongue can utter do I thank you. Ever will I wish you health and happiness and pray for blessings on your head," declared the poor man. Having thus spoken, the once poor man sought his home, and, through the virtue of the wishing jewel, he had every wish for wealth gratified. "How do you secure your desires?" asked the neighbors of the once poor begging man. "A wizard gave me a wishing jewel, and, by simply placing it in my mouth, all I wish to possess is mine," answered he. "Listen to me," he continued. "The wizard has yet another jewel, which, if placed in the mouth, will enable one to fly as a bird. Come, let us go and kill him, that we may all possess it together." With one accord they agreed, and as they approached the home of the wizard, espying the man he had so benefited, called to him, "Why have you not visited me, my son?" "There was no time. Much work have I had to do," replied the ungrateful man. Now the wizard of course knew the intent of the wicked fellow, that he with his neighbors had come to secure the second jewel, and he asked, "Why do you desire to kill me?" "Give to me the jewel you have, else I shall kill you, you old wizard," cried the ungrateful fellow. "Have you the wishing jewel with you? If so, show it to me first," said the wizard. Eagerly did the greedy fellow thrust it toward the old wizard, but he, having already placed the flying jewel in his mouth, seized the wishing jewel, and instead of giving the rascal the flying jewel, flew away, leaving both the man and his neighbors without either. Before we move on, it's worth noticing how quickly things changed once gratitude left the beggar's heart. And that pattern isn't unique to him. Our next story from Laos shows the very same truth from a different angle. How forgetting the source of your blessings can send you right back to where you started. This one is called The Ungrateful Fisherman. It happened on a time that a poor fisherman had caught nothing for many days. And while he was sitting thinking sadly of his miserable fortune, Punya-in, the god of wisdom, came from his high home in heaven in the form of a crow and asked him, "Do you desire to escape from this life of a fisherman and live in ease?" And the fisherman replied, "Greatly do I desire to escape from this miserable life." Beckoning him to come to him and listen, the crow told him of a far distant province whose chow lay dead. "Both the province and all the chow's former possessions will I give thee, if thou wilt promise ever to remember the benefits I bestow," said the crow. Readily did the fisherman promise, "Never, never will I forget." Immediately, the crow took the fisherman on his back and flew to the far distant province. Leaving the fisherman just outside the city gate, the crow entered the city, went to the chow's home, and took the body of the chow away, and, in the place, put the fisherman. When the fisherman moved, the watchers heard, and rejoicing they all cried, "Our chow is again alive!" Great was the joy of the people, and, for many years, the fisherman ruled in the province and enjoyed the possessions of the former chow. But, as time went by, the fisherman forgot the crow had been the author of all his good fortune, that all were the gifts of a crow, and he drove all crows from the rice fields. Even did he attempt to banish them from the province. Perceiving this, the god of wisdom again assumed the form of a crow, and came down and sat near the one-time fisherman. "O chow, wouldst thou desire to go where all is pleasure and delight?" asked the crow. "Let me go," replied the chow. And the crow took him on his back and flew with him to the house where, as a fisherman, he had lived in poverty and squalor, and ever had he to remain there. These two tales from Laos may be short and wrapped in the magic of folktale logic, but the lessons they carry are anything but imaginary. Each one holds up a mirror to something very real in our lives. How quickly blessings can arrive, and how quickly they can disappear when gratitude fades. And while neither story ends on a cheerful note, they're cautionary in a way that matters, because they remind us of a truth we sometimes forget until life forces us to remember it. So let's start with that caution. Forgetting to be grateful, even when your life is full of things you once longed for, is the surest way to lose what you should be thrilled to have. And I get it. We all slip into taking the familiar for granted. It's human, but it never leads anywhere good. So if it takes a reminder, a nudge, or even a gentle push, let it come. Don't dismiss what you have. Don't grumble about it. Don't treat it like nothing. As we saw today, that's the path back to misery. Gratitude keeps. Ingratitude loses. But here's the good part. The part both stories point toward before they turn. In each tale, a man with almost nothing is given a chance. And the reason is simple. He promises to be grateful. That's the doorway. That's the path. Even if you feel like you're starting from zero, the moment you begin cultivating gratitude in your heart, things shift. And if you want to look at it through a scientific lens, quantum physics tells us that everything is energy, including us. Change your energetic pattern to something more positive, more appreciative, and the energy around you begins to change in response. Gratitude gets. So as you head into your week, let gratitude be the lens you look through. Notice what's already good. Appreciate what's already there. Let that energy shape what comes next in your life. Thanks for listening, and I hope you'll join me again for the next episode of Tales for Life.